Hello everybody, meteorologist Jacob Campbell here with WeatherNow. I apologize for not having a intro on this video. My editing software broke again. I'm going to invest in a new one here before long because this one continues to not give me audio for some reason. Anyway, the main story this week is we have a very, very late season snowstorm from really parts of North Dakota through South Dakota, all the way over, and you see this band here, into Michigan. So there's a low pressure system that's starting to set up over there that will begin to unleash rain and snow starting late Friday night going into Saturday morning. That will bring snow and rain for this entire area. So we've got this band here of moderate snow. These bands, which I'll go to totals later, will get anywhere from 2 to 8 inches of snow. 2 to 4 inches of snow, and then the areas that have the heavy snow bands on them will get anywhere from about 4 to about around a foot of snow. So, and then if you live in the surrounding areas, you'll get anywhere from a dusting. That light area down there, see the light there. The light areas around here will get anywhere from a dusting to about 2 inches of snow. Then, if you live on the outskirts of these, if you live far enough to the north of the warm front, you're in for some moderate rain, and then in those bordering areas, you could get a wintry mix. Not very much wintry mix really showing up on the northern edge of this. However, since there will be a transition zone from rain to snow, you can expect some mixed precip there. And then on the southern end, this is more so where you're going to see more mixed precip. And I do want to say that for Iowa, as this is all based on the HRRR model, or High Resolution Rapid Refresh model. It's one of the most detailed and, in my opinion, best models you can look at, especially for snow events and rain events and thunderstorm events. Iowa, you are predicted to get rain before it turns into snow, and same with northern Illinois. As the cold front's going to push through, and then the warm front's going to dip down, and as that warm front dips down and you're north of that warm front, that's where the cold sector of the low pressure system is, and so you guys are in for some snow. If you live to the south of that warm front, or right on the warm front, you can be in for some pretty heavy rain. Anywhere from that wintry mix zone down Des Moines, you're going to get some heavy rain. Davenport, you're going to see a mix between a mix of snow and then also heavy rain. Fort Wayne, you'll also see some heavy rain. My college, West Lafayette, we will get some heavy to moderate rain. If you live to the south of that or to the north of it, you're in for some moderate rain. So Green Bay, you could see some moderate rain. Detroit, you're going to see rain first, then wintry mix, then snow, then rain again. So Detroit's going to get kind of a mix of everything. Fargo, you can see some rain. Minneapolis, some rain and some mixed precip. And then Quincy, St. Louis, you guys are in for some moderate rain. Same with Indianapolis. And then if you live to the south of that, you guys are going to get some light rain. So not a washout for you guys this weekend. This is until Sunday at about 1 a.m. Eastern Time, 12 a.m. Central Time. So depending on where you live on that border here, if you live to the west of that, you guys are in Central. If you live to the east of it, you guys are in Eastern. So that's until Sunday at midnight. I don't have a lot of time to actually get super detailed in this forecast. My finals are next week, and my first one's on Monday. So I'm studying all weekend for those. Going into detailed snow amounts, this once again is based on the HRRR model, High Resolution Rapid Refresh. If you live around this Chicago area, you could get 8 to 12 inches of snow. If you live in this area east of Mason City, west of Madison, in Iowa, you could get 8 to 12 inches of snow. The areas that got 12 inches of snow on the HRRR model were so small that I didn't feel the need to put in a 12 to 16 inch band, because odds are you won't get a foot. You could get a foot in drifts with wind as this front moves through, but the wind's not even supposed to be that bad with this system. The low pressure system just isn't strong enough to really bring that a significant amount of wind. Sioux Falls, including this little splotch right here, Mason City, Madison, you could get anywhere from about 4 to 8 inches of snow. And then there's that surrounding kind of band, and then this little band starting to set up here in South Dakota. You could get 2 to 4 inches, and then obviously there's the dusting to 2 inches of snow on the outskirts of that area there. So if you live in these areas, if you live near the Chicago area or in any like the Sioux Falls area, definitely just prepare, salt your driveways, stuff like that. You guys are going to get some snow this weekend. Once again, this is until Sunday at midnight Central Time and 1 a.m. Eastern Time. So moving on to the high temperatures for Saturday, you can see that where that warm front is, it kind of stretches down here to the south. If you're to the north of it, if you're directly to the north of it in Iowa on Saturday, your high temps are going to be in the 30s. If you're in the surrounding areas to Iowa, especially to the east or to the west, temperatures are going to be anywhere from the 40s to the 50s. If you live south of it and closer to the warm front, they're going to be once again 40s to 50s. If you live to the north in the North Dakota, Minnesota area, you guys can experience some mid 50s. If you live to the south of this front, you're going to have a nice day, really. Pretty much, if you live anywhere below this frontal system, or this low pressure system, it's going to be dry, it's going to be, for the most part, clear, and you're going to see temperatures just south of that front in the 70s and 80s. If you live in Texas, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, California, Nevada, Arizona, you guys are going to have some warmer temperatures reaching up to the mid 80s, low 90s, and even some 100s if you live in California, Southern California, and Arizona. So this is all sorry about that, my phone's going off. There we go. If you live, like I said, to the south of this area, you could expect warmer temperatures. Maine is going to get some rain and thunderstorms during the day into Saturday and even Friday tonight a little bit. But it's going to be pretty warm for you guys in the 50s, and then some areas along the coast are starting to inch into the 60s. So if you live in the Northwest area, the Pacific Northwest, you're going to see, and this is pretty usual for Washington and Oregon, temperatures ranging from the 50s to the 60s, really. So, New York, parts of the New York area, Vermont, New Hampshire could see temperatures in the 30s, but the majority of those states are going to see primarily 40s to 50s. Moving on to Saturday night low temperatures, if you live to the north of that front, it's going to be a chilly night. So anywhere from Montana and Idaho all the way north of this front to Maine, temperatures are going to be in the 20s and 30s as nighttime lows. So northern Illinois, northern Indiana, northern Ohio, parts of Pennsylvania and the Appalachian Mountains, and parts of New York, northern Iowa, northern Nebraska, you are all going to see temperatures in the 30s. If you live in northern Michigan, if you live in northern Wisconsin, the upper peninsula of Michigan, parts of northern Minnesota, and parts of Wyoming, parts of Idaho, parts of Montana, you guys will see temperatures in the 20s. So chilly night for all of you. If you live south of the system, it's going to be fairly warm. Temperatures in the 50s in southern Indiana, southern Illinois, southern Iowa. So if you just drive a couple of hours, it's going to cool down. Or maybe not even a couple of hours, maybe even an hour for parts of these states. You could go from temperatures in the 50s to temperatures in the 30s. That's just how frontal systems work. And then if you live in the Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas area or Florida, it's going to be warmer for you guys with temperatures in the 60s approaching the 70s. In Southern California and Arizona, you're going to get temperatures in the higher 70s and maybe even the low 80s in some spotty areas. Down the East Coast, it'll be fairly warm with temperatures remaining in the 50s. Moving on to Sunday high temperatures, the cold front on this system is a little bit more difficult to see on these high temperature maps, but you'll see it on the low temperature map. Basically, the cold front is kind of set up right here, and then the warm front is extended to the east this way. And then if you live south of this, so the low pressure system is still affecting these areas, so it's just channeling more air from Canada down into these Great Lakes states. And so if you live to the south of that trough dipping down, if you live in this ridge area down here, it's going to be warmer. So that South Dakota and Nebraska area, it's going to be warmer for you guys in the 60s and 70s. So those areas of little bits of Nebraska that might see some snow, and then in South Dakota that got some snow, you're definitely going to have a melting day on Sunday, as temperatures, even in those areas that just got snow, are going to be in the 50s, and even some 40s and 30s in some of those heavier band areas that got snow. But likely most areas that got snow will start to see melting in the day on Sunday. If you live down the East Coast, if you live on the southern East Coast, balmy 80s, 90s. So, balmy day for all of you in the southern East Coast. If you live in the northern East Coast, it's going to be in the 50s and the 60s, which is still pretty good for the New England area this time of the year. If you live on the West Coast, it's going to be a bit of a warm-up for you northern Pacific Northwest areas. So if you live on the coast, it'll be the 60s, and then if you live further inland, it will be closer to the 50s and the 40s. If you live down in California, temperatures in the mid to high 70s, and then even spotty areas of mid to upper 90s and even some hundreds poking in there, as well as the southern tip of Florida, just west of Miami, will be approaching the hundreds, including parts of Texas. So, nice balmy day for the majority of the southern half of the country, and as well as the two coasts. Now we move on to low temperatures. If you live in the Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, or the Michigan areas, you guys are going to see some temperatures in the 20s. So much cooler night for all of you up there. You can still see that air from Canada is pushing its way down into the continental United States again. If you live in Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, once again, you'll also see the 20s. And then those surrounding areas around there, including actually New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and parts of Maine, you will also see temperatures in the 20s. If you live to the south, to the east, or to the west of those 20s, you're pretty much going to be in the 30s and 40s as nighttime lows. And then to the south of that, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kansas. Sorry, that's not Kansas. That's Kentucky. If you live in those areas, going to be in the 60s. Some of these Gulf states, especially near the Gulf of Mexico, are going to be in the 50s as nighttime lows. And then Florida is going to be in the 60s. Parts of the East Coast and South Carolina and North Carolina, you guys will see temperatures in the 60s for the most part. Southern California, Arizona, Nevada is still going to stay warm, seeing temperatures in the 60s and 70s. So, I hope that you all enjoyed, and please like, comment, and subscribe. If my content was a little sparse today, that's just because I have the exams coming up. Fortunately, my exams aren't going to be very long, so I will get right back to uploading. I will be moving next week because I've got to move back home. Summer break's going to be starting soon. My month of May is kind of jam-packed, so I will still upload, but the uploads may be a little sparse. I'm taking a summer class in 6 weeks that is normally a 12-week course, so taking it in half the time. And then my June and July are going to be, I'm taking one class, but it shouldn't be all that bad, and so I should have more consistent uploads and whatnot. August is my only truly free month this summer. So in August, as hurricane season is cranking up, I do have plans for it, and hopefully I will be able to bring you some very, very, very detailed forecasts on the hurricane tracks this hurricane season. So I thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys all on Monday. So thank you all, and have a great day.